Hello Sanibonani, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am back, and this time I am bringing you one of my friends, my fellow love technician. It is comedy hour. We're going to be having fun. We're going to be talking everything comedy, and I won't say much because, guys, I want you to know this guy, because if you say you're a comedian or you are a comedy fan and you do not know him, shame on you. Because not only is he a comedian, he also produces some of the biggest shows in the UK, which always tour the 6 cities and even go to Chicago, to Canada. So if you do not know him, please do go to his socials, which I have linked on the description. Please, you have to know MC Mark. Let me bring him on. MC.
Hello, what's up, sis? How you doing?
I am good. I am good. How are you?
I'm okay, as far as you can see. You're looking fresh. I'm not sure whether you're locked down or you're shut down.
We they try.
You did try. I like that your pigeon. Now your pigeon are like a rich women pigeon.
MC Mark, for anyone who doesn't know you, who hasn't heard of you, please introduce yourself. Tell us what you do and where you are based.
Okay, hello. For those who don't know me, my name is MC Mark. Nigerian-born, London-based comedian, actor, teacher, producer of the biggest family-friendly comedy variety show in the UK. Touring 6 cities, international cities are included, and counting and expanding. I'm your boy. Yeah, let's leave it there now. Sometimes, my people get upset when you have too many titles.
when you say too much.
No, let's leave it. Let them go and read the bio.
Where are you currently locked down? You're currently on lockdown, or are you in a place where everything is free?
Everybody's locked down at the moment, although there's a partial movement now. But the most important thing is you can be locked down. Your dream cannot be locked down. You have to make sure that your gifts, talents are not locked down in any way. So, and this moment defines us in so many ways. From those who are just in it for the money, from those who have it as a calling, those who really are interested in the benefits that people derive from what we do. So these moments are defining moments, really. And well done to you, Thenjiwe, for you are a trailblazer. I see your skits. I say this can't be stopped. You can be shakeable, but you're unstoppable.
We have to keep working. We have to keep working. We cannot be controlled by restrictions. We have to be ready for the new normal. We have to make sure just being home, because we don't want also your comedy bones to get rusty. I see you also doing skits, and you're doing a lot, even though it's locked down, but it doesn't mean you have stopped.
No, you can't.
Why comedy? And how long have you been in the game?
In the game since 2004. I tested positive to laughter in 2004. Yeah, causing trouble, eh? You're causing trouble.
Yeah. So, what's your story? Why comedy? How did you start? And how?
I was duped, my sister. I was duped too. After my first degree, I was in Benin. I was duped. I had my savings then. I wanted to start something small. I was duped. Maybe I was partially greedy, but somehow destiny will force itself on you, whether you accept it willingly or unwillingly. So my sister was duped of all my savings. So I didn't have anything else to do. So comedy wasn't the plan. Although I was talented, I'd been doing comedy in uni. Even though I studied science, most of the biggest show on campus, then I hosted them, concerts and all of that. But I didn't really think, oh, comedy. I was looking for a company job. And also I wanted to start.
MC Mark, because your comedy, your degree Please
Yeah.
tell us what you studied, because it has nothing to do with comedy.
No,
Usually,
it has
people
nothing.
say, I'm a comedian with a degree. They studied theater arts. They studied drama. Please tell us what you studied.
Thenjiwe, my sister, it's totally unrelated to comedy. My first degree was in industrial chemistry. So that was, and the only thing you could do, it was basically, I had some savings. I was going to look for a job, then I was going to do business. So all my savings, I was duped. It's a very long story. The duping story was a very long loop. Those of the Nigerian design will understand the story a bit more. But basically, I met some people at Ring Road in Benin, and they said they can change money. They're going to change money, and they wanted me to bring money to change money. Oh, I thought it was big time business, And this is it. If it's too good to be true, it is not true.
Mm.
The lessons I've learned then remain with me forever. Although I was lucky that after I was duped, there was only one thing to do. I needed to do something. And I remember in uni, I used to tell jokes. So I went to one of my teachers at school who had a radio show. I told him, listen, I can tell jokes for your show. Let me tell jokes. He said, okay, that's fine. I only knew 2 jokes then. I only knew 2 jokes.
Please share those jokes with us.
Whoops. Can I remember the jokes? I really can't remember because I grew up in Ilorin, a Kwara state in Nigeria. For those who know Nigeria very well, it's a place, it's not a very bustling town like Lagos. And which is why most of the people who think most comedians have to come from Lagos or from Warri or that. Not necessarily true. I was from Kwara State. It was not really particularly notable for mainstream comedy. So it was there I met the guy and he told me that, okay, come on my show. I told those 2 jokes. He said more. I said, well, that's it. That's it. He gave me half an hour. Thenjiwe. He gave me half an hour. I had 2 jokes. He said more. I said, well, that's it. And we're live on radio. He had to just slot him. He said, yeah. He said, you have to come back next week to tell more jokes. So I started planning. Okay, that's fine. Then from there, he loved what I did on I can't remember the jokes. I'll think deep, but I can't remember. It's a very long time ago, Thenjiwe. Remember that there's been childcare along the way. There's been so many other stories. But it's a good point that you asked that what are the 2 jokes. So I started preparing week after that. Okay, I should be able to do maybe 15 minutes following week. Remember, this is radio show. And what people don't know that is that when you do radio and telly, is different. It's different skill set. Live stand-up comedy, it's a different skill set to radio comedy. You can't see the audience. You have to picture the audience. So it was right in the deep end. So he started asking me if I could go and represent him as a master of ceremony in some events that he had. He was established radio broadcaster. He was a big time shot. And I said, fine, I could represent him. Thenjiwe, I had only one. Remember that this was back in the days. I had only one dress that I could use for a formal ceremony. He asked me to go, and I went. And they loved me. And when they pay, I will collect the balance of the payment. I'll take it to him. Then he will pay me from the balance. And then people started calling me before him.
Directly.
That, oh, what about the guy you sent? No, Thenjiwe, true story. People say, then I will ring him to say that, oh, the people you sent me to have called me behind your back. He would say, yeah, well, they wanted you, so go. So then I met another guy who was hosting for the Kwara State government then, who was a main corporate event host for the Kwara State government then. He then introduced me to hosting corporate events. Okay, even when the president would come from Abuja, then he would take me in and show me things. And if he can, he will ask them to give me 5 minutes to tell jokes. So I was learning 2 things, master of ceremony, and I was learning to tell jokes at corporate function. It was right into the deep end. And these 2 guys, they are destiny movers. And history cannot be rewritten. They gave me the first ever platform that allowed me to then start to have savings afterwards. So then the other guys thought that I didn't study. That's why I wanted to do comedy. And he called me to his office. He said, "Why do you want to do comedy? You're a very young man. You could go to school." I kept quiet. When he finished, I showed him my certificate. I said, "I'm good." He was shocked. He said, "Why do you want to do comedy?" I said, "I was duped. I didn't have any money to travel from Benin back to Kwara. I had to lend money. I had to refund the money because I didn't have any other job then. And I wanted to start a business and I needed to raise capital. Even at that, then it wasn't that I was going to go very deep into comedy. I just needed to raise capital and go back into what I wanted to do. But see, there's something you call providence. It will overtake you. I didn't know as events keep unfolding, I started realizing that I was getting more fulfilled doing comedy and being able to be a blessing and help and be a trigger point for other people's realizing their talent than me just doing a 9-to-5 job and getting paid. And that's just me. I can't help somebody else realize themselves. So it was a double-edged sword for me. Every day was unfolding. Every day was unfolding. And we are here 2020. I'm now hosting my show in 6 different cities. And I've met you. You've been on the show before yourself. Fantastic set you did. It's all online. And people love you. They still ask for you, and and you know, it's not that we plan it from the start. It was just an innate talent, and Providence just said forced you down that path, really. And I didn't regret it. As a matter of fact, I thank those who duped me. If they hadn't duped me, I probably wouldn't have met you and other great people. You know,
Yeah.
at some point I was friends to the High Commissioner in the Nigerian High Commissioner to the Court of St. James in here in the UK. I've been friends to many CEOs that my ordinary degree wouldn't have taken me to. And that is also to correct the maxim that a lot of people think that, oh, you just have to study comedy and make it big. No, not necessarily. You just have to be educated to as far as you can. You have to let comedy choose you. A lot of people choose comedy, but comedy didn't choose them. And you keep forcing and forcing and forcing, and yes, you're forcing. There's a difference between up and coming, budding, and forcing yourself down a route that is not chosen you. And that leads me to talk about, without sounding like a philosopher, how do you know comedy has chosen you? You have to let it go at some point in your life. Have you ever been at that point, sis, where you feel that this is really not for me? Yeah. You have to get to that point whereby you think this is not for you and let it come and choose you. It's like dating a girl. You run after her, run after her, run after her, run after her. If she doesn't want you, she won't see you. You buy the gift, you buy this. If she don't, gift will not force her to like you. Am I speaking? If she likes you, trust me, if you can't buy McDonald's, she will buy it and she will not see anything wrong in it. That's when she loves you. Now, I'm not saying the guys who are listening should take a girl out and not pay. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm trying to make a point that don't neglect education all in the name of, I mean, comedy. People have become great comedians and they still went to school. You only spend a few years in school anyway, and you keep being educated throughout life. I'd rather say have it all. Why shortchange yourself if you can have it all? So for me, that was the starting story for me. Everyone's story is different. If they hadn't duped me, trust me, I probably wouldn't have thought. I would have just looked at it and maybe did a few things and then go away.
I beg to differ. I believe that even if that hadn't happened, something else would have led you to it.
Yeah, you go.
Something else would have led you to it. Because at the end of the day, it is your calling. Just like you say, you could have chosen to stick with your career, something else. Because let me get to my next point. The move to London. What's inspired the move to London? And when you got to London, why didn't you stay and just do your job, make the money, and not go into comedy? What took you to comedy when you got to London? First, what inspired the move to London or to England? And when you got here, what made you decide, I still want to do comedy? Thank you.
Okay, that's a brilliant point. You're a very, very, very intelligent woman. Now, Thenjiwe, believe you me, coming to London was a trial for me. It was it was partly a sacrifice for my better half because she's schooled here and she didn't want to come back to Nigeria at the time. I said, okay, fine, I'll come and test the waters and go. I'm not keen. I wasn't keen because at the time I was already doing not fantastically well. Take note, okay? But I was I already had something to show for the comedy I was doing. Don't get me wrong. Not everybody necessarily will say, oh, they get to the level of Kevin Hart. No. That's not the point. People sometimes don't understand how their destiny works. No. But at the time, I could feed myself. I could feed some people around me. I had something to show for it. So I wasn't keen on the move. Bear in mind that the move will be a fresh start for me. So I said, okay, let's test the waters. And this is it. Sometimes you have to sacrifice on relationship grounds. But take note, I still had everything I had back in Nigeria. So it was one leg in, one leg out. If I try it here and it's frustrating, I will go back. Or if it doesn't work, I'm not going to stress. So, but it so turns out that it worked. That is another sign that it chose you. Bear in mind, when I moved initially, and I'm not ashamed to say this, it was tough. People don't like to say the rough patches. Gold, before it comes out, it had to pass through, as you know, so many rubbles and all of that. So I lost my train of thoughts there. So the point is that it was tough. When I moved to London, I had to do odd jobs. And it was good that I did that because it gave me some foundation knowledge of how the country works. That includes, because I'm slightly I didn't want anybody to be paying for where I live, so I was ready to do anything. The moment I hit London, the second day I was going from shop to shop, North London, asking them, what do you have for me to do? What can I help you do? What can I help you do? They said nothing. I'll move to the next shop. No hard feeling. I'll move to that. What can I do for you? I'll move. I had a CV, but the CV wouldn't turn overnight. I needed to make money because I can't let someone pay the rent over me. I couldn't stand the missus then going out and then come back and I mean lying down at home. I couldn't do that. So eventually I found somebody that said, okay, come and clean for us. I was cleaning, and they are Asian, brilliant people, wonderful. And they treated me with respect. It was great, but I was doing my job very well. So that's, if you see me do Indian jokes today, I think it was over association with Indian people then. I really, some of my skits are people have seen, and it's just because I was, you know, you associate with people so much, you start to pick their accent. Before you know it, I started doing like that. And then say, well, the missus will come back, I have boss work today. So you associate with people so much, you start to speak like them. So it was the foundation. I remember doing 4 jobs at a time because the cleaning couldn't do it, so I had to walk to McDonald's. If you move to London and you never work in McDonald's, you have so much to learn. Basically, I was flipping burgers, but they are honest earning. Okay, honest. One thing I can't do is illegal money. I can't do it. And when they say, oh, Nigerians for one, that's not necessarily true. Okay, every country have their bad side. But I want my history to be able to. I want to be able to say. I want to be able to tell people how I got to where I am without having to dupe anybody. Okay, so what I did. Okay, thank you for that feedback. Did you see that, Thenjiwe? So we're telling jokes, but we're hitting realities because this might be for someone. So what I had to do all of that while the CV was being built and working towards the CV. Okay, I remember I was working at a pub then, and I got fired because I was new in London. I didn't know the food, the nature of their meal very well. I wasn't quite quick on the tail, so I got fired. Fine. The moment I got fired, Thenjiwe, I'm a tough guy. I walked out of that pub. I crossed the road to the next building and I saw an advert for nail technician. I've got no idea what that means. I had no clue who a nail technician was. Since I entered the shop, I said, you need a nail technician. They said, where's your CV? I said, do you need a CV? They said, what can you do? I said, what does a nail technician do? That's not how an interview is supposed to be. Needless to say, I didn't get that job, of course. It turns out that I needed to have NVQ to be a nail technician. What? Really? Anyways, then I left that place. I kept walking through other shops. I wasn't going to go home, get fired and go home. What am I going to say at home? I got fired and I what? And I got home to do what? Yeah, how are we going to pay the rent for that month? Right? So I kept walking to another shop. Eventually, I got hired by, I think it was maybe by Greg's then or by another. I just didn't go home defeated. So it's the same energy. Needless did I know that I was building routines. I got some of the most amazing stand-up comedy sets from those history of mine. It allowed me to understand how the country worked. It allowed me to appreciate people. I've got my own cleaner now that cleans the house. I treat them with respect, just the same way, you know, that I was treated with respect. And everybody I meet, I understand because I have a history, okay? And you could say, why did I have to go through that? Okay, fast forward. Oh, mommy, go back to my childhood. I was raised by a single mom. And a lot of people say a lot of the problem we have in country today, and which I address the youth over, is the risk of dysfunctionality increases as a result of being raised from a single home, single parent. You know, as much as I do, the statistics is there. They say over 70% of the children from single parent home household become dysfunctional for whatever reason. So whenever I address the youth and I say that, okay, this is my story. I was raised by a single young, not because my dad was a lazy man, but it was because he died. He passed on early. Okay, so it was 6 of us. You see, in Africa, the way they give birth in Africa, you would think that the man that gave birth to his child will wait. No, he didn't wait. How long were they married for? 6 years. The way they rush it this in Africa. Here in Western world, Western countries, we calculate before we give birth. Because you calculate your leave, how much money you get during the leave. Then you say, oh, if we get, you've just started this job, if you get pregnant now, you won't get any leave entitlement. So you plan. But in Africa, they don't plan those things. Okay? So
anytime is baby making time.
Anytime is baby making time. Because basically we don't want to use retirement money to be doing paying nursery fees, isn't it? So I don't know what aspect of my story I can come in from, because I can just keep busting up a different thing. Well, there you go. People out there, you have it. Not all Africans or people from Nigeria necessarily are looking for your money to steal. Some of us are keen hard workers, and we want to make sure that things are done right. Okay.
I definitely know that, because I have enough enough Nigerian friends to know this. I definitely can attest to that. And then when you got to London, first comedy gig.
Comedy gig.
Where and what? How did it go?
Okay, I had a very terrible gig. It wasn't the first one. It was probably the second one. It was in central London. I didn't know how the country worked. I didn't understand the rubrics I was building, but I was quite happy to test the waters. So it was in central London. We had a gig. It was dead silence. All the punchlines were dreadful. And you don't know, the worst thing that could happen to a comedian is to tell a joke. Second joke, third joke. Basically, you enter the stage, you climb the stage, you got 15 seconds to get the audience attention, right? After that 15 seconds, you're at their mercy. So I missed my 15-second slot, and it was woeful. And guess what? The comedian that came after me fried me like a I was his set basically. Oh my days! I sat down and I soaked it in, and I soaked it in, and I soaked in, and it was a point of contact because he didn't know my story. To all intents and purposes, he doesn't care about my story. One thing matters when you're standing on stage: laughter. I didn't get it, and he used me to which was great. And when I look back, I know where I am today, and I'm grateful and for the mercy of God that's kept me in the game. Because even after that, I said I don't know, in a compass, I still didn't feel like giving up. I just thought it was one of those things. It pained me, it was painful. You probably won't recover. 3 months later, you're still thinking about it. But then by the time I climbed the stage afterwards, it was with vengeance.
The fact that you went back after that, it means comedy chose you. You couldn't run
It means
away.
comedy chose you. Yes. It means
You,
comedy chose you. And
if it
events
hadn't
were
chosen
aligning
you,
itself. Sorry?
if it hadn't chosen you, you would have left. After that, you would not have done any comedy because you would have been like, But you came back. Was it a white club or?
It was mixed. It was mixed. It's hard to get a pure white or pure black club in London. And needless to say that I've since deviated from club comedy for two reasons. Basically, with time, I went more. I'm more into corporate comedy, corporate audience, weddings, social events because of business side of things. For me, that was my forte, and I felt that the clubs weren't offering me what I really wanted to. The times that they'll call you to perform, the logistics around it just didn't work. You can't be a jack of all trades. It's not possible. If I want to do club now, I probably will still need to do a couple of clubs to pick myself up to club level, because club event is slightly different from corporate event, and it's different from family friendly atmosphere of wedding and all of that. And that is why my show, the Makala Comedy Variety Show, is a family friendly show. Remember, we were chatting about this when you were gonna come. Oh, thanks. Look at that.
It's one of the biggest shows, and I have done it, and it's just brilliant. It's one of those shows where there's no age limit. You find a 9-year-old sitting next to a 90-year-old, and they are both laughing.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. It's a brilliant show. I love it, and it goes around.
Yeah, it does. Thanks. That was the Aberdeen one. We have to we've cancelled Thenjiwe. We've cancelled 3 shows already this year because of COVID, and I know we had to cancel Glasgow, Scotland. And then we thought, okay, then we had to cancel Aberdeen and Leicester as well. So we still have about 3 more cities, but we don't know what will happen. And
I think the December one has a better chance. That's December, Boxing Day show. Yeah,
Boxing Day. Hopefully we'll be able to do the Boxing Day again this year. When last year we used Domino Hall, over 1,500. So it is. I mean, you saw the video. Probably it's all on social media.
Even the one, because I've done one of your Boxing Day shows.
Yeah, London. You've done one of the. That's the one you came for. That was that 2 years ago?
Yes, it was brilliant.
No, you were brilliant.
On the road.
Yeah, you have the clip, don't you? It's amazing.
Yeah.
Your set was. What's interesting about your set is the way you drink and talk at the same time. and the punchlines are surreal. It's absolutely amazing. Not one swear word, and people are in stitches.
That's what we need. And the good thing, as I see a lot with comedians like yourself, that have taught themselves to be family friendly and not to try and accommodate the Western way of doing comedy. Attract more audiences. because people are not afraid what's gonna happen. People can come, and also not only to do comedy, it's comedy that number one heals and educates. So instead of it just being entertainment, it's edutainment. So people go there and come back knowing better facts, because you research your stuff. Even if you're gonna make a joke about it, you know the facts about it. So people even learn a bit of their history. They sit down and they say, "Oh my God, as a nation, why do we do that? Or is this kind of people? Why do we do that? Oh my God, this is so true. Oh, it reminds me of this." So it's not just silly jokes. And that's why you are able, because you are one of the most, you are the busiest actually comedian, especially with people in the diaspora when it comes to weddings, because of how, number one, you conduct yourself and the material. And I think education also plays a role.
Yeah.
That's why you are able to be hired. Your clientele is quite rich people. It's top. And also, I'd like you to dress code. I've never seen, like, if I walked into a room, I wouldn't say that's a comedian. You don't dress funny.
Thank you. All these pictures you're showing, thank you. People who want to help me now might not want to help me again.
People will help you. The right kind of people, the right type will help you.
No, yeah. But I think what you're saying is absolutely true. You know, I mean, look at your set when you came, absolutely broad spec. And the truth is, not one swear word. It makes people feel safe. You know, there are some CEOs, they are quiet. They don't like to shout, but they like environment where they can do business, talk business, and feel relaxed. People want to come in with their in-laws. People want to come in with their imams, with their, because when you see our shows, you see imams, Muslim scholars, they attend our show, Christian scholars, Christian leaders, you know, bishops, and people, 5-star CEOs. They want to sit down in an atmosphere where they will feel like, oh, not every punchline has to end up in swear word. This is not me condemning comedians who do swear word or do that. That's not the purpose. I just respect my niche and I want to attract as many customers as possible. But besides that is the purpose for which you do the comedy, which is why a lot of people after the lockdown are feeling depressed, and is the purpose why you were doing it in the first place. There has to be more purposeful attachment to it than just the money. I understand the role that money plays in everything, and I fully understand that money can make a huge difference. But outside that, you have to have a reason for living other than just money, because money itself will make you happy. But if you can, why do some CEOs get depressed? Then you ask yourself. Okay, so there has to be inner joy within you, because as comics, we run the risk of giving joy to people, and we are depressed
Denying ourselves joy.
because we feed off the laughter. Now there has to be balance, in the sense that as much as we feed off that laugh, we must be able to give ourselves laugh as well. Just our innermost self, just generally being happy as well. You know where I'm coming from. And you say that, and you see the lockdown is causing a lot of issues. You have to be able to tell jokes in your own house. My stage has been my home since the lockdown. You have to allow your kids, your family, feel the joy that you give outside, because this is a test. Trust me, you being stuck with children for 7 weeks, they will test your faith.
Yeah, they do.
My kids, they've been testing my faith. Honestly.
And going back to the Mark Alive comedy show, What
Yeah.
inspired it?
Oh, very good point. What inspired it was basically um, family-friendly comedy show. There's most of the shows that we go and people go to swearing all over the place, da 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 da, and people can't really take healing home. And I thought, okay, if that an entrepreneur has to spot a gap in the market, isn't it?
Mm.
So that was it, really. The it was born out of, okay, why don't we just do a family friendly atmosphere, clean comedy, and allow people to have a good time and also win prizes, win something to go home with. And the other issue was dates became a problem. Dates became a problem because I was booked back to back, and most of the days that people would say was available wasn't necessarily available for me, because you have to juxtapose that your personal timetable vis-a-vis what you do. And the motivation came from also um, using having a platform to flog redundant tendencies in our community. The black community is slightly disadvantaged for on so many levels. So um, at that, the idea came, okay, family friendly atmosphere, flog redundant tendencies, gather people together. Most of the time when you see black people gather is religious purposes. Okay, let's have an atmosphere that is not necessarily a religious purpose, but we're getting educated, we're getting entertained, and also provide platforms for young people. There's so many young people who do not have a platform, and the mainstream, quote and unquote, um, cannot accommodate everybody. That's just the truth. Not
There is.
everybody will end up on television. So I said, okay, if we have that platform, that young people also who have so much energy and so much talent, they don't know what to do with it. At least it can be a trigger point. It can be a trigger point for them, a springboard for people to realize and achieve their dreams. After all, I was given a platform that helped me. I remember when one of the early days in Ilorin then, when there was this hotel manager that in Ilorin then, is late now. I told him that, okay, I will do a show and blah blah blah. I was, quite young, and he looked at me and said something I would never forget for the rest of my life. He said, "You are very lucky, Mark." I said, why? He said, because you are young, at least you have an idea of what you want to do. He said, you are like 5% out of 100% there. People who don't know, have an idea of what they want to do.
That's
And
so
he
true.
said that, he said, I'm not necessarily saying it. He said it wasn't necessarily saying it's going to work or not work. At least you are not um you are not doing vices, bad things, sinister things at the moment. You have a direction. And
That
that
is
what stood with me for so many years and is still here with me.
that is
So, and fast forward to modern times where you do a course, what they're going to pay you is what they're going to pay you. If you like, have PhD, that's your cup of tea.
mm,
What they're going to pay you is what they're going to pay you. Okay.
that is
So you have to look inwards, and and robots are taking jobs now. Have you seen
they
that?
are.
Machines are taking jobs. So you have to be creative and look inwards. If it's not comedy, it has to be something that would not that will allow you to fulfill and maximize your potential,
That is
basically.
so true. That is so true. And also, your son, I
Oh, my
think he's
son,
the youngest, if he's not the youngest comedian, stand-up comedian.
African in the African genre. He is at 7 years old. He did his first set, and he hasn't stopped since. And
How
last
did
year,
you
you need to.
come
Oh gosh, that's him. That's him. Bless him. He's got so much energy. I tell you, true story. Thenjiwe, and
Mhm.
you probably find this might amuse you again. Do you know how it started? How I drafted him into comedy?
Mhm.
Childcare. I was struggling with childcare. I said, okay, follow me to show. So he got to show, was busy. I said, I have to find something for him to do. So that's how it started.
And then he started doing comedy.
Yeah, it was just childcare issues. So, you know, he stays with the mom. It will cause, so it was so busy, it was hard for the mom to juggle everything. Okay, go follow me to show. That's how it started, really. And I started giving him little things to do when I'm you know, gigging. And one thing led to one thing, and I said, you know what? Next year you'll be the one to introduce me at the Market Life show. But you say a few funny things before you introduce me. And then he got on stage, said a few funny things, and people loved it. And some people said if he's gonna come again, they will want to come again just because they saw an 8-year-old boy telling jokes. So I said, okay, fine. And since then, he just stuck. Plus is it reduces cost of production. That is, if you are going to hire 7 comedians, now I only need to hire 6.
And we know, you know us, we want to fly private jet or first class. We want 6-star accommodation. We are too much. We are too much.
I don't need to. And then when we fly you guys, when we have to book hotels for all of you, I don't need to book extra room for him. He will just stay in my room. That's it, sorted. So can you see that the cost of production has reduced?
And sometimes we come with our team. I've got my glam squad. I've got my. We oh yeah.
We can't be paraphernalias
to deal with entertainers.
Yeah, any business is in any business, isn't it? You have to think about your cost of production. Why are they following people during the lockdown? It's cost of production, isn't it? I know schools who have closed. I know some private schools who had to shut down for good because they need about £600,000 to run the school every month. So from day one that you open any, pardon?
They've closed down because of lockdown.
Yes, they closed down because of lockdown. Yeah, because the cost of production was, you know, hysterical, and they can't sustain. So any business, the moment you're starting, you have to think about the cost of production. And you're very wise, Shuma. I remember our conversation one time when I sent itinerary to yourself, and you looked at it and thought, okay, you're not available for most of the dates, but the particular date you thought, okay, it might not be too cost effective to fly you down for that one and fly you back. And I respect that, you know.
Because at the end of it's a business, it's not just entertainment. It's called showbiz for a reason. There must be a show, but after the show, there must be a business made.
Yes. Yes. Where you can't do that, you have to, it's not, you know, where you can't do that, you have to have a precursor for subsequent one. So, and if you get to that point, what's the whole point? You do one and you can't do anything else again. Then it closes down. It means opportunity closes down. Look at the number of staffs and workers that have lost their job just as a result of that. You know, so every business from day one, you have to think about the cost of production. So if you have a capacity of 100, why don't you not maximize it for the first run? For the first run, maybe do about 40% or 50%, so that you have something in the bank for subsequent one, because you are not sure how the first run of the business will be. No one is. So I know there's some. Pardon?
What would you say to the parents who have children who wanna come into comedy?
Let them, you know,
parents, we want our children to be doctors. We want our children to be engineers.
Yeah.
We don't.
There's nothing wrong.
Comedy,
there's not.
You're gonna tell jokes for a living. You're gonna tell jokes. So what would you say to African parents?
I would tell them that let them do everything. Let them do all. Let them do all. Nobody knows what tomorrow holds. Nobody has got an idea what will be happening in the next 10 years. Look at the way robots are taking jobs now. Let your child do everything they are capable of. They got skills, they've got brain, they can combine everything. Look at our parents. How many things did they combine? My mom was selling shoes, selling bags, selling clothes, selling this, selling that. It wasn't one thing that they focused on. The world is gradually moving all away from, jack of all trades, master of none. No, you can do it all provided you are prepared to work hard. Let them do it all. Give them chance. Follow them to their show. If your child likes playing computer game, let them play it. Just add balance to it. All the kids now, locked up, all the kids just playing game from morning till evening. What if they could do something else? Let them learn the piano. Let them learn other skills. Let them learn skills as much as education. Africans were a little bit stereotyped. Oh, we want it to be this, want it to be that. What if he doesn't have a knack for it? Okay, so balance for me is what I'm going to tell them. Let them. My son, the one you showed now, because I can play piano as well. I'm teaching him piano as well, just so that he won't be on computer game 24/7. That
is very important.
Yes, and also I'll allow him to do schoolwork as well, but not schoolwork all the time. I don't want somebody that is so intelligent he can't fix a broken what can I even think of? Something simple. We can't fix maybe a common washing machine that is just simply broken.
A bulb.
It can't fit a bulb. Thank you very much. I don't want somebody that is so. Look at Asians again. I've worked with a lot of Asians, and no matter how educated they are, they come into that off-license shop. I don't know what you call it in South Africa. There, we call it off-license here in the UK. No matter how educated they are, 5-year-old. I went to an Asian shop the other time. 5-year-old, they put him next to the till. He's watching the operations of the till. A pharmacist, a doctor, it comes back from uni. They tell them to go straight to the till. He can operate the till. Okay, and it can be a pharmacist, it can be a doctor, but he knows how to run the family business.
So guys, as Africans, it's very important to make sure that we do expose our children, to make sure that our children have more opportunities than we had when we were growing up, and to allow them to expand their knowledge. They don't have to do the traditional jobs that we did growing up. Things have changed. Life has changed. Let us make sure that we do that. And also, I know a lot of comedians that are much richer than some of our doctors.
Oh,
so
yes.
The quality of you have to do this job because, I mean, it's 2020. How many doctors can say in Africa that they're richer than Trevor Noah?
There you go.
If you see talent in your children, support it.
Absolutely.
Support it.
It's as simple as.
They're just trying to do something and you can see what my child. Here, no talent, sorry. And sometimes they'll do it and eventually it will just be a phase. And then they'll be.
It will just be a phase sometimes.
Don't want to do it anymore.
And sometimes, I mean, Trevor Noah, I don't think is even one in a million examples, isn't it? It's one of those ones that there's no way he would have thought he would be hosting the morning show. Never would. You can't see that coming. And the truth is, he chose him.
Yep.
Pardon me. It is multi-talented. I think sometimes Trevor Noah's talent is underrated. He does absolutely crazy impressions. He does accents crazy. It's underrated. But he's one of the most respected comedians all over the world. But not necessarily the funniest. Would you say that?
I agree, totally, 100% agree.
It chose him. It chose him. Look at all the natural phenomena that we have, like the moon, the sun, the star, the trees, all the natural phenomena. air that we're breathing. They have their calling, they have their dispensation, they have their purpose. It's the same for human being. Not everybody will have a limelight like Trevor Noah.
Yeah,
Okay?
and it only takes one or few per generation. We will all get our senses. Yeah, it's one of those things.
Per generation.
Even children of the same parents, not all of them can be kings.
No. That's very disheartening. But it's the truth. Harsh realities, but it's the truth. The truth is that don't judge yourself by the yardstick. If a fish keeps saying, "Oh gosh, I can't run," like, sorry.
If a fish is complaining that's a tree, a fish, you cannot judge it by. Yeah, can you continue talking? I need to tell someone to reduce the volume of the radio.
Okay, that's fine. So the truth is that you can't judge a fish will not judge itself by what a jaguar does or an elephant does. No, everybody has their calling. Your yardstick is to pick the people around you, closely around you, and see what impact that you can make on their life. How can you make someone's life better? For example, Thenjiwe, I'll tell you this for free. Since lockdown, obviously, we've not been able to get all the young people together. We've not been able to go around like we do, bringing the community together. But one thing I make sure I do, at least I give one person laughter every day.
Very important.
That's one way the gift will not die. Because it's a natural gift. A lot of people have monetized it, and they've come in. Is he rich? And people kind of like, oh, is he rich? That is how fickle our world has become. If you've been given the gift to give joy, oh my days, there's nothing more fulfilling as you see the joy in someone else. And just go back to the nitty-gritty. So you will not die depressed if I don't become rich, like as rich as Trevor Noah or as rich as Kevin Hart. That they are beautiful role models, but you can't wake up every day and think that, oh, until you get to that point, you're going to be depressed. If that's your yardstick every day, that until you become Dangote, you're going to be depressed. And the truth of the matter is, go back to the nitty-gritty. If you're so rich, you have 10-bedroom house, 2 swimming pools, 15 fleet of cars, how many can you drive at once?
Some people are actually, some of my friends were saying that during the lockdown, they're actually getting to use the stuff in their house. They're actually able to go to the rooms that they haven't entered in their own houses. The houses are enjoyed by the maids.
Cobwebs.
People don't enjoy their own houses.
Look
because
at that.
they're not home.
Yeah.
You leave in the morning, you come back at night, you're tired, you go to sleep.
There you go. Look at that. There's no joy in it. There's no joy. You take work home, you are earning a lot. How much do you spend? If you eat too much meat, you have heart condition. If you can't, even if you're driving, if you have 10 cars, you can only be in one at once. To what end? You have 10-bedroom house, you can only sleep in one at once. Even that one, you can only sleep in one bed. Even that bed, you can only sleep in one corner. And God help you if your partner that spreads themselves when they sleep. Good luck to you.
That is absolutely true.
So people killing themselves. Oh, I love that. I love that. Quarantine diaries. It's people killing themselves. People think just because you're coming there, you got no sense. You can't make sense of life. Not true. In fact, pardon me, for you to be able to turn something to humor, it means you are 2 times intelligent to be able to turn it into humor. You look at life, and what makes people sad is too much of choices. And then you have it. Look at it. My car. I've never been in a situation whereby I'll buy petrol. Believe you me, for 7 weeks, my petrol, I've not used up my petrol in my car. for 7 weeks. I'm telling you. The filling station are now worried that I should just come around. Just come around, say hi, you know. And the price of petrol is dropping. It's only just gone back this week because they've relaxed some of the rules around lockdown. The filling station was deserted. They had to drop the cost of petrol. And what are we talking about? Some people are still just joining. But anyway, they'll catch up during the upload. So, you know, it's there was something else you asked me. I'm not sure whether I answered that question well. What was it that you asked me about? Oh yes, you know, I was saying to you that because we had the itinerary for this year already, 6 cities, and we canceled 3 already.
That's a lot.
You know what that? Sorry?
That's a lot of money, that's a lot of jobs for a lot of comedians. And people forget that when you do a comedy show, there are vendors, the venue, the transport. It's not just, they just think of the promoter, but there's so many people that have lost jobs because of you losing the 3. Oh.
Thank you for that analysis.
Their biggest earning for the year.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that analysis. And as a matter of fact, in addition to all you've said, you do one this year, it becomes so good, more people want to come next year. That is potential market loss as well. Plus just the sheer joy that and the healing that would have come out of the whole event. The important thing, this is the point I wanted to say. I know I can't compare that loss, this magnitude of that loss is incomparable to people, multi-CEOs and all of that who have lost. I mean, you must have heard about Richard Branson and, you know, 3,000 workers being lost and all of that. It's nowhere near that. But the point I'm making is that we are not having a heart attack over anything. A lot of people will lose business and they will suffer stroke. A lot of people will lose earnings and they will suffer stroke. It's not worth it. If you're going to go into something, plan as if you will fail. That way, if you succeed, you are joyful, in a better place to do more. But if you fail, you will not lose your life. Nothing is worth losing your life over. Do you know the number of calls I've had since the cancellation? Some people are genuinely happy that, oh, they cancel. You know, bad people with bad belly. We call them bad belly. There are plenty where you know now. There are many of them. But I'm saying that people who have rang genuinely to say, oh gosh, oh my God, oh yeah, what are you gonna do? I said nothing. We will follow the lockdown rule. We're socially responsible. There's no point. Nobody will come. Nobody will want to risk it anyway. But we are still here without heart attack. I've not lost sleep for one night at all. It's important that as people grow up, they learn simple lessons of life. If you plan A, if you think plan A, have a plan B. If you think plan B, somewhere at the back of your mind, have a plan C. Because this mental health has taken, in men now, there's over 65% increase in mental health condition. Is it? I'm sure that's
a lot. That's a lot. But
that's
it is happening. I can believe that it is happening.
And what's causing it? Disappointments. Misplaced. Pardon?
What will people say syndrome? I was going to buy a car. What will people say now that I'm not going to buy it? I need to move. I can no longer afford to live in this apartment. What will people say? I can no longer afford to live in this postcode. I told my friends I was going to have the biggest 40th birthday party. Now I can't do it. What will people say? People worry about the smallest things. I think we should use this time, spend with our loved ones. It's like the pressure people are putting. Sometimes I see people putting statuses online saying things like, now this lockdown has made me know who my real friends are. Be careful who your friends are. only after lockdown, I'm only gonna be friends with people who are checking up on me. What makes you think that people should check up on you? Who are you checking up on? Right now, as the whole world, we're going through the same thing. If MC Mark is not checking up on me, let me check on him. It's not like when you lose your mother and you say, I lost my mother and so didn't even check on me. We are all suffering the same. We are all going through the same. What makes you the VIP of friendship that people must check up on you?
True. What? And the truth of the matter is that mental health is on the rise. Depression is on the rise. And we were seeing the advert the other day that abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse has been on the rise since the lockdown. These things have a trigger point. They have a starting point. The best thing is not to get to that point. Not to get to that point whereby ephemeral things, tangible things, common things have become our source of joy. That is what makes you happy only. Without it, nothing.
Yes.
Apparently, those depression drugs don't actually cure depression. They only suppress it, like a spring. If you stop taking the drug, it springs back. To what end?
That is so true.
You know, so I mean, it's a learning curve for everybody. It's an action point for everybody. What actually makes you valuable?
There's no one recipe. It's not a one size fits all. Some of us want to go for a walk for an hour. If you don't feel like going for a walk, you think, I want to nap 4 times a day. Do that.
That's it.
Don't do what other people are doing. You can learn from other people, but there's no recipe on how to cope. Do what makes you happy, what makes you cope. If you feel like reading a book, but don't feel pressure that people now who read books are saying, if you are not reading a book during this lockdown, you are stupid. How many books have you read? No. If you want to watch YouTube videos all day, do that. And don't forget, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channels. I've put Mike's YouTube channel link on the description. Please subscribe to his channel, and please do subscribe to my channel. We have a problem, especially with Africans. They do not subscribe. Sometimes they think that YouTube, you have to pay. They will watch, but they will not subscribe.
No, they will not subscribe. You see, that don't even get me started on that note, because Black people don't understand the principle of success. They want you once you are there. They don't understand that. If Thenjiwe, look at the kind of relationship we have now. If you become billionaire now, I still have access to you. I've known you before then.
Yes.
Okay. In the days that you were not, I'm not saying you are not a billionaire now. Okay, let me use
Zimbabwe.
That flower behind you is a millionaire. Is only in millionaire's house. I'm not saying.
I am a billionaire in Zimbabwe and in Vietnam. When I went to Vietnam, I changed 500 rands, which is about 20 pounds. It was $1 million. I carried that million with me. Since then, every time I'm like, oh, do I have short change? I only have $1 million in my bag, just to feel like I'm a proper millionaire.
It's relative, isn't it? The same thing. If you change,
$1 million is $1 million.
Yeah, absolutely. No whatever, like 4,000 pounds. You're a millionaire in Naira.
In Nigeria. Actually, 4,000 pounds is actually, because the pound is quite strong against our money at the moment.
Isn't it? Yeah, I know. It's hysterical. And if you put your faith in those things, you just have sleepless night for nothing.
Yes.
And then, but I was saying something. Black people don't understand the principle of success. They don't understand that if you want someone to be successful, you have to get them to be successful. When they are successful, you are successful. Because they will pull you up. Pardon?
If you are successful, but nobody says they became successful or they became somebody because of you, for me, you are not successful.
That's
if you have not lifted anyone up, you have not done well.
That's it. That's the second phase of it. We think that if we get people successful, they'll have more than us. Although the people who have become successful also do not really understand the principle of success, that when you get there, you're supposed to help other people to get there. Otherwise, we wouldn't be these marginalized in the mainstream of the world. If our politicians are not selfish and our leaders are not selfish, this time, especially during the Brexit, and I say this again, during the Brexit, they were supposed to cash in on the fact that they were pulling out of European Union. We have a lot to offer in Africa. We have a lot of natural resources that they can tap into, and then we can negotiate on our own terms, whatever trade deal we want. And then we'll become
that, because we will not stop talking. Let's not even get into that, because we will
get into that. Yeah, but it's
it breaks my heart.
That's why I said, yeah, that's why I said don't even get me started on black people think. Black people think we are friends if they can get free from you. We're not friends. You should be able to do it for me free now. That's their definition of friends. Whereas other cultures, most of the other cultures, the Jewish, they say friends, that means I should buy from you. That's the mentality. Because if I buy from you, you'll have money somehow to be able to buy back from me. And that means you won't be dependent on the black people like it. Oh, I gave him £10 yesterday. If you come tomorrow, I will give you £5 tomorrow. I gave him. No. Show him how to do it. Right? And show him how to do it, and let him be able to help other people. That way we'll grow. You see, COVID should teach everybody lesson. If COVID catches one person, that person has the ability to spread it to 1.5 people. So if you catch success, right?
Spread it like COVID.
Yes, to spread it like COVID. We should do a show and say spread it like COVID.
Yes.
Right? And I'll have that tagline, spread it like COVID.
I can't wait to get back on stage and hear all the jokes about what was happening during the lockdown. There's going to be quite a lot.
Yeah, no,
people adhering to the rules. Well, you're not in London, but in where you are people adhering? Because in South Africa, I'm not currently in South Africa, I'm also in London, but there are so many sad but funny stories about what people are doing, what is happening. Like, people are taking chances. It's sad, because right now it's compulsory, because we are on stage 4 in South Africa. It's compulsory to go to put on a mask when you go into public areas.
Compulsorily.
Yeah, you can't. You're not allowed to go into a shop. You can't get inside a shop without a mask on.
Wow.
You cannot go to your workplace without your mask on.
Wow.
Basically, you need your mask.
So what's going to happen for those who are getting married with masks on? What are you going to say? You may kiss the bride.
You can't have people. There's actually a couple that got arrested because they got married during lockdown.
During lockdown? Yeah,
they got arrested. Even funerals, you can only have a maximum of 50 people.
At funerals?
And they have to wear masks, all of them. So you're finding people, because they've already traveled to town and they want to do what they've come to do, they want to buy what they've come to buy, then they are required to put on a mask, and they're doing things like Basically, this guy just took out his underwear and put it on and said, I don't have money to buy a mask. And then you're getting people who are just going overboard and over masking when they go in public.
Oh my days.
They really do not want to get corona. And then you get those who are just like, you said a mask. Is this not a mask?
Oh my days.
And then you get those where you're like, when are you just trying to hide from whoever you owe money? This is overworking.
Oh my days. Hysterical. You sure that's not the person's face? Normal face.
No, it's a mask. They put it on a mask, and you get those who are making the mask fashionable.
Oh my days. Oh my days. Oh dear.
So
My
it's been quite
days.
interesting.
Right. Now, do you know?
They're giving us some
Oh my
entertainment.
days. Do you know? I'm worried when people start to get married and they have to be in masks. When they start allowing them and they put on masks, how do you say you may kiss the bride? It
has started. And
what
now
would you say? I can't hear you.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Okay, let
Hello?
me.
Okay, yeah. I can hear you now. Yeah, what do you say? What do you say with masks? Couple in masks, you may kiss the bride. You can't say that, can you?
You can. They kiss over the mask because they're not allowed to take it off. Actually, let me. There's a thingy. Let me show you something. Like things have gone crazy. It's a new normal.
After you can't tell a choir man where I come from. A choir man that's paid bride price, heavy bride price. It's not time for kissing. You say you may kiss the mask. He's going to collect his bride price money back. Say this is not money guarantee.
Then he'll be going to jail.
This is not money guarantee. This is not what I paid for.
Then he'll be going to prison. He must be ready to go to prison.
And you know, there are those who are using.
It's become so crazy. And it's our new normal. We just have to.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you. And
can you hear me?
I can hear you now, loud and clear.
Did I lose you?
Yes, a little bit. I'm back now.
Have I lost you?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Hello?
Hello. I can hear you now.
Mark?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear
Mark.
you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Mark?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Do forgive me, guys. We seem to have lost each other, but I know we will reconnect very soon.
I can see you. I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi.
Hi, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hi, guys. I do apologize for that. I do not know what happened. I do not know what happened, but I am back. It's a sign language, please. I am back. Let me just try and get in touch with Mark so that he knows that I am back, because she's probably thinking, how does this woman invite me to her house and then leave me by myself? That should not be happening, but the way I'm just sending Mark a message. I'm just asking him to please reconnect, and he will be back with us. I want to go through some of the comments, but I think I won't be doing justice because Mark also has to see the comments. And let me see if I think he's, yay!
Yeah, we're back.
Yes!
We are shakeable but unstoppable. Ah!
Yes! We are.
Leboski, we are back. We aren't going nowhere.
Yep.
If lockdown cannot lock us down, video quality or lack of video connection cannot chase us away. Yeah. Although it might be a pointer, that the streaming should start to run up.
It will start when it starts. Don't ask us when. It will start when it starts. It will start.
Yeah.
Eventually. Yeah, so I was saying that we must be very careful as well when it comes to the buying of masks, because there are people who are now going into hospitals with patients with COVID, taking the mask, washing them, and reselling them.
Oh my days.
And they're washing them by hand. Because people will always find business opportunities, look for businesses. So we really need to be careful. Maybe we are better off looking like this.
Oh my God. Terrible. You know, the problem is that, look at that. Why would people wash pre-used masks? It's poverty.
It is. It is.
Poverty, and I don't blame them. I blame the leaders.
I do blame the leaders. And also you must remember that all the big franchise shops are open now, especially in particular in South Africa. But our mothers who do those businesses of hustling, of selling at the robots, which are traffic lights, they can't. But your stores can do delivery.
Yeah.
So it's difficult, and I maybe we should have a conversation with our leaders and ask them all these questions, because there's no point in us asking each other.
They've asked the conversation. The leaders, they know. They know what they are doing now is what you call what do you call somebody from your family that is keeping you hostage? Somebody from your family keeping you hostage. There's a word for it, but that's what they are doing. Familiar colonialism or whatever it is, for the sake of for lack of a better word.
There is nothing we can do about it.
They are doing it because they know how much we're entitled to, and if they suddenly wake up and tell us how much everybody's entitled to, it will cause a huge alarm, and they will have to trace it back to everybody. So it's like they just wake up and tell us we're all entitled to 1 million each. For example, somebody's going to ask, since when? Do you understand? So if I then ask since when, that means I have to keep going back to all the leaders. You mean we're entitled to 1 million since when? So it's going to cause too much chaos, so they have to keep a lead on it and not tell the citizenry their worth. If they can keep it as a secret, that way they will carry on with familiar colonialism, for lack of a better word. So it's our leaders that is hosting us.
Yeah, sometimes it's hurting us. Yeah, we need to have these conversations because we need answers. We can't be having the same problems that we had 100 years ago.
Yeah, they are not going to answer you, Thenjiwe.
It just should not be.
And remember that there's freedom of speech, but once you have spoken, you are no longer free.
Very true.
Except
Freedom of
except you have a house. Except
you lose your freedom.
Yeah, yeah. Except you have a house. Except you have a house to hide in maybe in London or Dubai. Other than that, you just have to settle for the status quo. It's not going to change until there's a revolution. It's not. These people are not going to change. I'm telling you.
Sometimes I feel like as Africans, we own nothing. We don't even own our own leaders that we vote for.
I'm telling you. They want to, you know why the leaders want to keep coming back? They want to keep coming back because they have no retirement plan. They've not saved anything for retirement. So they want to do second term, third term, fourth term, if until death do their part. with the politics.
Let's leave politics. We need to have a session where we just talk about these things. But for now, let me show you. You were talking about getting married and wearing a mask.
Oh my days. Oh dear. Oh dear. No, why really? Oh, so they kiss over the mask. So you think that somebody like me will pay bride price and you say I won't taste the real lips? Okay, so if they do kiss over the mask, what about the honeymoon? How would they do the intimate aspect?
You do it over the mask now.
Over the mask as well.
Yeah.
The devil
what
is
makes
a lie.
You think you qualify to just do it?
The devil is a lie. So you mean that they will go on honeymoon, they will wear mask, and they will get to the other room, they will be wearing mask as well. The devil is a liar. How?
Look at what this couple did because they couldn't have all their family and friends and loved ones for their wedding. This is what they did.
Okay. Right. Yeah, but I'm interested in the honeymoon now. The intimate aspect. So, okay, all this year, this is manageable, yeah. But when the real honeymoon starts, what are they going to do?
Mask.
Yes. During honeymoon.
Yes.
How does that work? How would they be able to give birth?
Nobody must give birth. Corona season. Why are you thinking about giving birth?
When COVID has left.
Well, then you can.
Hang on a minute. This is giving me headache now. So they would.
Wow.
They will kiss over mask. Yes, okay. This number of people will come to their church. The picture of people who attend the ceremony. They will get to honeymoon behind closed door and still be in mask.
Yes.
This is the reason why World War III started. And people have been maintaining their calm, you are going to make them lose their calm.
So, no, people must just get used to it. It's a new normal. Things have changed. If you go to the honeymoon, whatever you do, there must be a mask on. Without a mask, things cannot be done. So this is how people are now looking on their honeymoon.
On their honeymoon.
Yeah,
right.
Everything must be having a mask.
Right. This is the precursor to World War IV. Look, everything they've been saying, people can take it. But you are saying that they should be practicing social distancing behind closed door. Listen, COVID is a respiratory disease, not a reproductive disease.
But imagine
COVID is not a
reproduction thing. Doesn't it make you breathe faster? Imagine, no.
COVID is a respiratory disease. It's supposed to affect your nose and your mouth and your lungs. It's not supposed to affect your reproductive organs. What are you telling me?
So you must avoid things that make you breathe heavy. Mark,
you must avoid things that make you.
I'm gonna have to wrap up. But before I let you go, because I don't want to lose this part, I want us to get to the next segment. As a comedian,
yeah,
I want you to tell me some of the things that would never happen. For example, things you should never say to a dead body.
things you must never say to a dead body.
Mm.
When can I come? When can you come and get your money back?
Ooh.
You must never say that. The other thing you must never say to a dead body, you must never say, I'll see you tomorrow. You know, normally when you're saying to your friends, you say goodbye, I'll see you tomorrow. You say, I'll see you tomorrow.
Mm.
Things you must never say to things you must never say to a dead body, I owe you one.
Ooh, that's bad. That's bad.
You mustn't say that to anybody.
Things you should never say to a president.
Things you must never say to a president. Okay. Hopefully, her money. Let me see. You're putting me on the spot now. Well, you must never tell the president that. You know, let's face it. Let's face the fact. All presidents, they have access to. Well, maybe depending on African president, you have to segment this. You have to segment this. You can't just say general president, because presidents in some countries, you know, they loot from the treasury. Some other countries make us believe that they don't loot from the treasury, but we know they loot from the treasury. Okay, so I'm going to segregate that to presidents that loot from the treasury and everybody knows, and those who loot from the treasury and nobody knows. Okay, so you must never tell a president that okay, so he's looting from the money, and you must never say may our money not go missing, because he's going to loot from the treasury. He's going to take from the money anyway, and that could be seen as confrontational. Things you must never say at a job interview. I don't need this job anyway, so if you don't give me, it's not the end of the world. I can't hear you again. You're on mute.
Sorry, I was saying the one thing that you should not have said was, what does a nail technician do?
Oh, you remember that one? Yeah. Yeah, I was.
Things you should never say in a relationship.
Things you should never say in a relationship. You are my first love, but hopefully you won't be my last.
One thing you would never say to a customer.
One thing you should never say to a customer, you are not right, because customers are always right. That's very wrong of you to say customers are always right. Things that a prostitute would never say. How am I supposed to know that one? Thenjiwe?
I don't know.
How am I supposed to
You've
know?
never been a president, but you know a lot about presidents.
Well, I think a prostitute is supposed to be a business-minded person. So as a business-minded person, you shouldn't say, I tested positive, but I've been cleared. So you shouldn't say that. Things you should never say in court. In court, you should never say uh, uh, you should never tell the judge, for example, that if you've never done wrong to, then you can judge. All of us have been wrong before, so you can't tell the judge that he's also wrong, and things along the lines of that. Things a pastor should never say. A pastor should never say. There is a pastor should never say. Okay. Gosh, you put him on.
Don't pay your tithes this month. This month, take all your money home. That's one thing the pastor would never say.
A pastor must never say, don't bring 10 pounds. Minimum offering in this church is 50 pounds. He shouldn't say that. He might think it, but he shouldn't say. Things you should never say to a pregnant woman. I didn't send you, so I didn't get you pregnant, so or what got you pregnant. You shouldn't say that. Things you should never say to a COVID-19 positive person. I know the things you can say to a COVID-20 positive person, but the things you shouldn't say to COVID-19 person, you shouldn't tell them, well, is this all you can do? COVID-19? Well, COVID-20 should be able to do better. Yeah. That's interesting. Definitely not things you've seen before. Testing my freestyle skills.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was so much fun. And you dropped some gems. Like, we learned so much, not just about the industry, but also about things to do. And what's the last thing you can tell us about being safe, and what can we do to make this lockdown bearable, and so that we all come out safe?
Okay. So the lockdown, we need to obviously do all that has been said, social distancing, washing of hands, and all of that. But one thing I really want to add is they're saying stay alert, stay safe. I want to say stay happy. When you stay happy, when you stay social distancing, you wash your hands, and you're not staying happy, there's another one called depression. So I want to say stay happy and stay alive, because Mark Alive, our show, will be back again soon on the road. So stay alive for Mark Alive.
And guys, Mark's information is on the description. Please do follow him. Do subscribe to his YouTube channel and tell your friends about subscribing to our channels, because we do need subscribers and we do need support. Thank you so much, Mark. And you won't believe what I'm gonna put on now. Guys, enjoy.
I'll behave like that. See, if you get to work and you're always like this, and you are looking for promotion, it might be delayed though. Because they'll think, this person doesn't like this job. They'll think of redundancy. They might add your name. They say, Father, I'm praying. But if you get to work, even if you don't like the work, just say, hello, Charlie, you okay? Act as if you're on 6-month probation. Darling, are you okay? I'm sorry I'm late today. Hello, Gerard. Is there anything I could help with? They say, why are you always happy? I'm just happy to be at work today.